Good afternoon and welcome to Wednesday's Market SITREP, the day before Turkey Day here in the United States. My name is Matthew Buckley. My call sign is Wiz, and welcome to Top Gun Options SITREP or Situation Report. We have our accelerated retirement live trading session coming up here at 1 o'clock Eastern. We're going to be covering what's going on with Raytheon, also CSX and Amazon. A little bit of a relief rally out of Amazon as we prepare to see people beat the hell out of each other on Friday in the spirit of giving and saving $10 at Walmart. So really looking, and we're going to talk about Raytheon today, guys. The liberal hypocrisy on a daily basis, it knows no bounds. On September 11th, 2001, 15 out of 19 hijackers that killed 3,000 Americans. 15 Saudi Arabian citizens. You didn't hear the liberals screaming to go to war with Saudi Arabia. A Muslim Brotherhood supporter, journalist, non-U.S. citizen gets killed by the Saudi Arabians, and of course, they excoriate the president for not going to war with Saudi Arabia. The hypocrisy just is ridiculous. We're starting to see a little bit of maybe a thaw in U.S. tensions. One of our aircraft carrier battle groups was allowed to pull in Hong Kong. Remember, about 3-4 months ago, they didn't allow port of entry to one of our surface vessels. But now, after a bunch of bombers flew over contested waters, not really contested waters, they're international waters that China says they own. The only people who contest that are the Chinese. We don't. So the president, in a good show of force, flew a couple B-52 bombers over the South China Sea. I've sailed through these waters. I've been to Hong Kong a couple times. I know exactly what's going on in this region. So the president is he's speaking loudly, and he's carrying a big stick here, especially after what happened the other day at the APEC summit, where Vice President Pence and President Xi Jinping kind of squared off, and nobody budged, and it sounded like it was going to get worse. So I'm not seeing super movement here. We have a weekly options trade, a short 41.5 bear call spread out to Friday. I'm holding that one. That one was up in our brief yesterday, up $1,800 or 66%. My rule of thumb, my SOP, is when I see 70, 80, or 90% profit on the credit that I took in, that's when I look to exit. So it was right on the border. I didn't take it, and obviously today with this little bit of a pop, although it's slowly starting to come back underneath 41 here. This is a hold for me. So if you're in that trade, I'm hanging into this as well. Traders really, rarely like being long over the holidays. So I fully expect to get some of this rally back into the close, which we'll talk about in a second. So not too much super good news on the trade war front. The president tweeting out today, hey, thank you, Saudi Arabia, for lower oil prices. Kind of not the best time to do that, the day after you kind of say, hey, we're not – the president is doing the right thing with Saudi Arabia, but saying it wrong. And that's kind of sometimes the president's problem, is he does the right thing, but the way he characterizes it is wrong. Like I said, after 9/11, if we were going to go to war with Saudi Arabia, that would have been it. 3,000 dead Americans. Forgive me if I don't lose too much sleep over them killing a Muslim Brotherhood supporter who's not even an American citizen. If you want to start laying out the list of atrocities, we're doing deals with we're trying to do a deal with China with North Korea, right? The guy's a butcher. Do you want peace or do you want war? So the same liberal idiots who say, oh, my God, the president's going to get us killed in a nuclear war last year with North Korea, and now he's making peace with them, are the same liberal idiots that are furious at him for making peace with a dictator. What do you do? It's just you can't make this stuff up. But oil recovering a little bit today, and the president, like I said, not the smartest tweet in the world to say thank you to Saudi Arabia after we know that they brutally – it came from MSB. The guy ordered the guy dead. It was recorded. They picked up the phone. Hey, tell our boss that the deed is done. The one guy's like the body doubles. Like, I can't believe I got to wear this dead guy's clothes. It's really weird that we just killed him 20 minutes ago. Just a horrific thing. I get it. It's horrific, folks, but a lot of these countries ain't the Girl Scouts that we work with. So oil rallying is helping the market a little bit. Tech stocks, let me just get to the chase here. This ain't over, guys. This is a double bottom. We need to hold these October lows, or this is the big one. Somebody posted in the radio room a little while ago, like, you don't agree. I didn't say, folks, I said this will be the big one if we do not hold these October lows. We will head down to the February lows, which aren't even on the screen here, which are about 50, 75 S&P points below where we are. So this is not an all clear. Every time we've had one of these rallies, what have I said? This is not the all clear, and I'm saying it again today. Bottoms are usually characterized by exhausted selling, institutional selling. I told you Monday that I'm starting to see institution selling. Buy the dip did not work here, guys. I had a bad trade for now. At least it's not a bad trade until you close it on the XRT, the retail ETF, right? Let me pull up the 3-month chart here. So XRT, I loved it here, and I loved it here. So, nice 2% rally today. This is the retail ETF. But it's taking a look at the weather reports. This is supposed to be the coldest Black Friday in history. Now, I know people who camp out starting, tonight or tomorrow night to save a couple bucks are mentally most likely ill anyway and don't care about the temperature. But I don't. The all clear is not sounded, guys. I mean, this wasn't even an all clear. When we, at the end of October, beginning of November, as we saw this kind of rip your face off rally, I said, don't believe it. Markets don't do. Well, that's a stupid thing to say. Markets did that, but that's not normal reaction here. So that's why I said don't believe this and sell into it, and we're heading lower, and we were right. We nailed that. We got some good hedges on. 4 out of the 5 SDS calls that I've recommended. Some of them quadrupled in value, just printed money on SDS calls, and we got long volatility as well going into the G20 summit here at the end of the month. Kind of a little weird yesterday with Larry Kudlow in an interview saying a recession is so far in the distance I can't even see it. So Trump's top economic advisor says fears of a collapse are nonsense as stocks erase all of 2018's gains in a few hours, and the 5 top tech stocks lose $1 trillion in value. So Larry Kudlow was like the guy at the end of Animal House, remain calm, all is well, Kevin Bacon, and then he got run over by the crowd. This reeked of desperation. The market is not up, the Dow's not up 130 points because Larry Kudlow said this yesterday. Larry Kudlow said this yesterday in the middle of the day, and the market's really shrugged it off. So as we talked about, a couple F's here. Fight the trade war, the Fed, and Friday, Black Friday, the trade war and meeting at the G20 summit, and the Fed. Those things need to change. Okay, for us to get off the mat here. The retailers are bullish, but nobody's really listening to it right now. Everything else is not good, folks. Another hit piece article in Vanity Fair. He doesn't believe in it. Mark Zuckerberg has never cared about your privacy, and he's not going to change. If you'll excuse my French, I'm going to quote this guy. Mark Zuckerberg said when he made Facebook, he emailed one of his buddies and said, "You wouldn't believe I have thousands of emails, date of birth, social security numbers, and personal info from people." And his buddy said, "Oh my God, man, how did you get it?" And he said, "They just gave it to me. Those dumb fucks." Mark Zuckerberg said if you gave him your information, you're a dumb fuck. So today, Mark Zuckerberg's trying to blow sunshine and lollipops. It's been reported, a very detailed New York Times piece about what's going on at Facebook and how he's ripping apart Sheryl Sandberg and throwing her under the bus, and it's her fault. Today, Mark Zuckerberg is sunshine and lollipops, blowing smoke. So Sheryl Sandberg, greatest human ever. They're 2 limousine liberals that just their hypocrisy knows no bounds. So there is a shit pot of regulation coming, folks, with into these tech stocks, and it is going to be a damper on them. So don't believe anything you see. There is no rebound in Facebook. Look at this, all the way down. I've been bearish on this thing all the way down. A year ago, 1 year ago, October, a year and a month ago, I said, get out of Facebook. It's over with. And the stock went down, since I made that call, 28%. Absolute phenomenal implosion here. Apple, what did Apple do in the past year? Same thing. I said, and we were long all these guys. I said, hey, I love Apple, love Facebook, blah, blah, blah. And then for all the reasons I predicted, the stocks have imploded. What's Apple done in that time? I said, get out of all of these. And, oh, man. It's up 3.8%. The one stock I said to target all your firepower into was Amazon. So let's compare Apple and Facebook to Amazon's performance. Amazon up 36% during that time. So 36, 4%, and then down whatever that was, 28%. So our winner is Amazon, and it's the Death Star. It doesn't have the regulatory risk that those other stocks do. I get, Donald Trump doesn't like them. It's more a Washington Post issue than it's a Jeff Bezos issue, not Amazon. Amazon's a Death Star. The government, if they come in and do the AT&T and break up type of thing, it'll take years, but I don't see that happening. Amazon's where you need to be. That's the smarter money here. Also, still keeping an eye on our Brazil trade. Nice little recovery out of the EWZ today. Nice little 2% pop. So we have some good-looking trades on EWZ as well, as we saw the pop with going into the election, the election of the Trump of the tropics, and now it's starting to move sideways here as it waits for its next leg, in my opinion, higher. So good-looking trades on EWZ. Very happy with those. So, all right, guys, I got to run. I got to get ready for our accelerated retirement brief at 1 o'clock. So obviously nothing tomorrow. Market's closed for Thanksgiving. Hope you have a great Thanksgiving with your loved ones, and we'll be back for Friday's market wrap up with an abbreviated trading day. We'll see you.